Hello and welcome. My guest today is Philip Siracusa. He is the author of the Horsefly Chronicles, and he is involved with a radio show called Horsefly Chronicles Radio. He had a near-death experience, and today he's going to share that with us. Hello, Philip. How are you doing? Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. Well, here you can just feel free to start at whatever point is most relevant to the story, and you can take it and run with it from there.
It's my mission to teach the world that there's another side to us and the existence of us. In 1981, I had a near-death experience. My mom took me to the dentist. I was 14 years old, Staten Island, New York, and they were trying to fill a cavity, and it was hurting really bad. And they gave me nitrous oxide, which we called sweet air, laughing gas. And I was still feeling the pain, and I was pulling the dentist's hand away. And so then he told the nurse, turn it up a little bit, meaning the nitrous oxide. Now in the room is the dentist, the assistant, and my mom sitting on a stool. So about 30 seconds later, after she turns it up, I start floating out of my body. And now I'm 14, I don't know what's going on, and I'm at the ceiling, and I turn around, my body's turned around, I'm looking down, I'm saying, hello, hello, and I'm saying, Mom, but no one can hear me. But I'm looking at my body at the same time. And then I'm being pulled through the ceiling of the dentist office up into the sky. And you don't know what's actually happening at this point. You don't know if you're in a dream state. Is it some form of a hallucination? What's exactly happening to my mind and my consciousness? Then I'm pulled into this tunnel that's way up in the sky. This tunnel, it's this big circular tunnel that you get sucked in very, very fast, as if you're getting sucked through a vacuum cleaner hose. It's that pressure that pulls the spirit body so fast you can feel the vibrational wind against you. And if I had to give like an example of the speed, we're talking over like 1,000 miles per hour, for example, on the spirit body. The physical body is still the dentist office. And there's turns in this tunnel. This vortex is very windy and very long, and then it's black. There's complete darkness in there. And then I came to a point where I wasn't moving anymore. I was observing nothing but total darkness. And I'm at a standstill. And then I'm pulled once again now forward again. I keep going and going, and then I start to hear melodies. Not music, not songs, but melodies. But the melodies were soothing to my soul, to my vibration of who I was. And I seen this pinhole of light far, far, far away, this little pinhole of light. And I was pulled so fast right to it, and I came to a complete stop. And it opens up a tremendous, beautiful sky, a magnificent sky that was so crystal blue, it was filled with this vibrational love and energy. And to the right side of me now, I remember looking to the right, I see these tremendous golden gates. They were miles long and very, very tall. Now, when you're on that side, you take in this unconditional love of who you really are on this side. There's no more existence of pain, of pressure, of nervous. That's all gone. You're pulled into the light, this light of perfection. As I'm going through the gates, I remember going through these fields, and the fields were endless. Each blade of grass was perfect. Each tree and leaf in diameter was perfect. The periscope of everything that I was seeing was intensified by 100 times, if not more, greater than the physical realm of experience. And at the same exact time, I now have a 360 view. It's no more my perception of only the eyes can see, because my eyes were not there. This is the spirit mind. the spirit eye can see 360. And I'm taking all this in. And on the physical realm, how we take things for granted, we would just say, oh, a blade of grass. Well, you see now, each blade of grass, you can feel the energy of perfection, of creation. Each flower, each rose, each petal, each leaf, everything was perfection of, this is the true essence of where the soul is home. And then I'm pulled to this garden. Now, when I say pulled, I'm pulled by vibrational energy of a thought of consciousness. I'm pulled now into a garden. The garden is euphoric, it's second to none. In the distance, I see this spiritual being, no wings, blonde hair, crystal blue eyes, levitating through the garden, coming slower and closer to me. I'm looking at her to the right of me, and she's about a foot away, and I know her, but I'm not remembering where I know her from. And she says, "Follow me," and not by touch, but by a pull from vibration. She pulls me through the garden, and she pulls me over to a park bench where I see the back of two elderly people, and she drifts away. They turn around, and it's my grandparents. My grandfather, who I never met, he had a top hat on with a suit. He was about his 60s, but not 60s in the spiritual realm, 60s in a perfection look, a look of a glowing 60s. And I see my grandmother, who died earlier that year in 1981. And I knew my grandpa, but I'd never seen him before. And I said, "Grandpa," and he says, "Hello, Sonny." And I was so excited and happy to see him. And I says, "Grandma." And then he says, "What's Philip doing here?" And she looks at him and looks at me, and she points her finger and says, "Go back now." And I says one more time, I says, "Grandma," and I was pulled now backwards through the fields into this open tunnel, and I'm going really fast. And I kept saying through my conscious thoughts, I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back, meaning the physical realm. There's nothing but darkness in this tunnel. I did not want to go back. And through my thoughts, I stopped myself in the tunnel. I wasn't moving forward or backwards. This was a point where I was actually terrified that I would never be found. I was lost. I felt like I'm part of nothing in nowhere forever. That's what it felt like, in complete darkness. Through my conscious mind and my thoughts now of the light, I keep saying the light, where I came from, I pulled myself back to what I call heaven, to the outside of the portal. And then once again, I was forced backwards again through this tunnel into a sky, over the ceiling of a hospital, and into a hospital bed. And I'm gasping for air. And I see a lot of people around me, and I'm trying to breathe. And I come to, and I'm thinking, this was all a dream. But why would I be here? At this point, you get lost between who you really are and where you were. And I kept saying verbally to my mom, I was in heaven. I was in heaven. And a couple of days later, I went home, and she says, "No, it was just a bad dream. It was just a dream." Now, this is 1981. So 1981, there's no internet, there's no TV shows on near-death experiences, there's no one talking about this stuff, especially at 14. It's not out there in any kind of form. So I says, well, maybe it was a dream. Maybe it wasn't real. I says, but I seen Grandpa. And she laughed at me and says, well, Grandpa was gone a long time before you were born. So as time went on, I lived a good teenage life at 14 years old. And it was in the back of my mind, I was saying, well, it was too real to be too fake. In the year of 2015, beautiful summer day, Staten Island, New York. I remember my backyard alone, my parents' yard, and I look up in the sky and I says, God, if I was really at your home, give me a sign, please. And I said this with intent as I'm looking at the flowers in the front yard through the gate of the backyard, and I'm feeling my words, what I'm saying. Please give me a sign, because no one believes me. So the next day, my mom takes me, my brothers and sisters for a long walk on this beautiful summer day. We lived on a long street. My father was at work, and we're walking down the street, and about a half a block up, I feel this vibrational energy that I felt in heaven. So I turn now to the right side of me. My mom's in the front with my brothers, my older sisters to the far right, and in between myself and my elder sister is the angelic being from heaven. And I'm looking at her, and I says, you can see me? She goes, of course I can see you, silly. And I'm trying to get my mom's attention. Do you see her? She goes, there's nobody here. And I'm trying to get my brother's attention. Do you see her? And she was dressed in regular clothes, blue jeans. She had a shirt with all flowers on it. Beautiful smile, glowing smile, just like I seen her on the other side. My older sister goes, I see her. My older sister's seen her. And she's skipping along the street talking to her and looking at her. And it made me feel so happy because now this wasn't a mass hallucination or a nightmare or a daydream. This was really in the physical realm of a prayer being answered. And my sister's talking to her, and she says to me, don't worry, I'll be here till you come back. And we keep walking up the street, and my mom and brothers don't see her, but my older sister's just skipping along with her, and I'm so happy because now I feel like my vibration has just raised tenfold, and I feel really good that she's here because I feel protected. And a block up, she's gone. She disappears into nothing, as if she wasn't there. Time went on, and I would talk to my sister, and she goes, I know her too, but I don't know from where. She goes, I know her. And as years went on, every once in a while, when life wasn't so good for me and things were really down, she would come into my dreams as she appeared in heaven and take me by the hand and make me float and levitate and talk to me through a form of telepathy, making me know that everything's going to be okay. You're fine. I'm watching you. I'm protecting you. I'm here with you. Now I'm 55 years old, and the last time this happened to me was a couple years ago. Things were going really bad in life and in the physical realm, and she appeared. And when she appeared in a dream state, I woke up feeling like my soul was rejuvenated. I felt good. I felt like I'm alive. I can fight any battle I have that comes in front of me. I'm ready, no matter what it is, medical, finances, insecurities, I could fight it. To this day, I still talk to my sister, and we try to say, well, who is it? Well, before I was born, my mom had lost a daughter that was about a couple weeks old, and it kind of fit the essence of, this is the sister that I never met, and the sister that my oldest sister did meet, but only she can see, because it wasn't for my mom or my older brothers to see her. And God said, this is your gift. You never got to meet your sister, because if she was born, I guess maybe I wouldn't have been born. It was a gift from the other side. Now, I teach people and I tell everyone that the other side is life. It's who we really are. The physical realm is like the dream state. The physical realm, we live in four corners. The mind can only see so far and think so much and have a consciousness of our awareness of so much. But when we cross over, not only do we take the true essence of our soul's energy of who we really are, but we have this feeling and this love that is second to none. We can throw around the word love in the physical realm. I love you. I care about you. It doesn't magnify to what love really is. Love, the most powerful word of essence of what we are, is unconditional. The feeling and the perfection of who we really are, when you cross over, you will find out that your soul takes the perfect fit of you, of what you would look like. Because people ask me, what did you look like on the other side? You look like the perfect fit of your soul's energy. There's no sickness, there's no disease. Those with missing limbs in the physical realm, the other side is built on this euphoric perfection of love and existence of ecstasy, of the true essence of every single thing that is alive. Every blade of grass, every leaf, every tree, every butterfly, every one of us. I came to realize as time went on that it's as if on this life journey, and most of us, the obstacles that we go through, why do we go through the challenges? And why do we lose friends at such young ages, and parents and siblings? And why? But then when you cross over, all that puzzle that you've been trying to figure out why comes into play. When the puzzle is complete, you say, now I understand. Because the other side is so perfect that before we're born, I believe we've created an essence of what we write down, what we want to experience in the physical realm through trial and error and tribulation of the soul and what the soul wants to encounter. I get asked a lot, well, then do I believe in reincarnation? Most definitely. Deja vu, the feeling of having been somewhere and knowing that you've been there but can't prove it, is very similar to the principles of being in heaven. And heaven, I call its home. There's not one based religion of Catholic or Christian or whatever religion you are or whatever faith you believe. People ask me, well, did you see God? Did you see angels? Did you see Jesus? No, I seen the light, and the light is everything. You see, the light is God. The light is the creator. The light is the love. The light is the essence of every single thing that is alive that we take care of in the physical realm. We learn our experiences. We learn to accept. We learn our defaults. We learn how to love and trust and move forward. But the ultimate mission is when we cross over, we've completed our life journey, our life puzzle, and we share that wisdom with others. And today, I help people move forward, knowing that I know times can be hard, and I know there's a lot of sadness going on. And people, when they ask why, is because why will become something that you won't understand until you get there. You have to complete the mission that you're on. Live life. I'm like a torch, and I tell people, be the torch in someone else's darkness. You see, when I was in that tunnel, not moving forward or backwards, not knowing if I was going to be anything and anywhere if I ever existed, is what I want people to know is be the light when someone else is going through a dark time and help them get through it. It is not about materialistic things. It's about what you can do for mankind and others. And in the world that we live in, we get sidetracked by the material things, socialism, and who we are and what we've become. But never lose the true essence of you, because you could be the poorest man on earth, but you could be the richest man in soul. And the richest man in soul is able to help others get through their journey. And when you've completed your mission and when you cross over, the essence and the euphoric feeling of what you really are and who you are is forever.
Thank you for sharing that. I had a question about in the beginning of the story. You said so you were at the dentist's office, and then when you came back, you were in the hospital. So
Yes.
you actually legitimately died and was taken to the hospital?
They were giving me oxygen. I was allergic to nitrous oxide. Um, I was born with severe asthma and almost allergic to everything at that point. I was going for allergy shots for years. I guess it triggered something where it stopped my breathing in a way where they had to put me on oxygen immediately. And then I remember like having like a tube in me, an IV in me. Um, so how long I was gone for, I don't know. You see, there's no time on that side. Time doesn't exist. So people could ask me today, well, how long were you in heaven? Do you know it could be years? And you say, well, you're only gone for a couple hours here. So how could it be years over there? Because time is not measured that way in the spirit. And what I've taken in on that journey is so much detail in such a short period of time that I can explain.
So when so I'm curious as to why you said that your mom was trying to convince you that it was just a bad dream when you actually legitimately stopped breathing and died, and she still didn't believe you?
Growing up in an Italian family from the 70s, never in 1881, no one believed in ghost or heaven and that level of a person go to heaven and come back. Any existence, people, went to church and believed according to what the church has taught them. But that's as far as it goes. But trying to believe someone's experience is very hard because it can't be proven. Only the person that goes through it can tell the testimony of it. You know, that if it wasn't for my older sister, to this day, I would have thought it was just a dream state until this angelic being came through and she's seen her as well. To me, it tells me something, and I help a lot of people now get through bad times. God answers prayers, but you see, it's the intent of the prayer. When I was in Staten Island at 15 years old in that backyard, and I'm looking at those flowers in the front yard, and I'm praying to God, I'm looking up in the sky, give me a sign that I was in your home. That sign happened because I had intent through my energy to really believing the question I was asking. I wanted a response. Not every prayer is answered, but because not every prayer is answered doesn't mean that the overall prayers of a lifespan is not answered, because things happen. We wanted it to happen. And then we've completed our puzzle. And when you get there, you'll understand. I get it now. And there's similar stories out there where people lose other ones in car accidents, young ages, teenagers that die in car accidents. Why? Why? It's sad. It's heartbreaking. But it was already planned because the soul, when I talk about reincarnation, I am a firm believer that we go through reincarnation cycles and we come here in soul groups into the physical realm. I'm also a firm believer in we've written out our exit signs okay, I want to live to 90, I want to live to 100, I want to live to 15, 17. And we find it hard to comprehend. Why? Because we're boxed into four corners. We could only think so far. When you're outside of the body, there's an abundance of knowledge that we gather. So picture you blow up a balloon, you put yourself in the balloon, and in the balloon is our realm. It's all we know. When you leave that balloon, there's no boundaries of understanding of who we really are and why we are.
Would you say now here when you said when you were on the other side, you I guess it was your grandparents that you saw, and
Yes.
and your grandmother acted like she didn't know why you were there. Would you
Yes.
say that this experience, your NDE, was actually part of your life plan? Like you planned to have that NDE and then come back?
Most definitely. I consider myself a messenger to go through this experience and teach people and help people through healing processes that you may not see tomorrow, but tomorrow will come. It's the way of positive thinking. It's the emotions. It's you have to think not through the mind, but through the consciousness of who you really are, the inner person of you, not the fabricated person of you. There's a big difference, and I believe that I've written this life out, and I went through that experience. And to date, I've helped many people not take their lives that were going to take their lives, that they didn't want to go on anymore. And you feel bad and it hurts. And then you give them enlightenment of courage and encouragement that you still have to finish this because you may be helping others on this journey. That's what this is about.
On some NDE experiences that I've heard some people refer to the other side as an imitation, or I'm sorry, the earth is an imitation of the other side. And like that's reality, and this is just like an imitation of it. Would you agree with that?
Most definitely.
Um,
Most definitely. The other side is life. This is a silhouette of that life. That's all this is. You know, when we cross over, the soul leaves the body. It's not visible to the eye, maybe to those with the spirit or the third eye. The soul goes back home. This is just a stage play in the physical realm of things we wanted to experience. So picture this. Picture what you're with a bunch of soul groups on the other side, okay? And you've already written down what you want to experience. And you say, okay, you know what? I'm ready. I'm going to take this journey, pick this family, and go through this time and this exit, and then I'll come back. That's what it's like. That is 1,000,000% what happens here is that, and we're not meant to remember a lot of this stuff. Most of us aren't. And that's okay. There's people who have NDE experiences like myself that help other people know that you could be hit with every sickness, every disease, and I get it's painful. And no matter how it takes you down, go to the inner part of you, the inner trust. Find you to fight through the barriers. And if you can't fight through the barriers, you've chosen that. And that's okay. But it's not okay to end it and hit the exit sign quick. Go through everything. And I talk about helping mankind because that is the biggest essence that helped the soul bring up this vibrational energy. It's not by buying yourself something or buying someone else something. It's about helping them in a ways that they know that you're intentionally trying to help them, rejuvenates the person that you really are, not the physical being, but the spiritual being. And we need to push that movement forward because that is the most important thing that I've learned and experienced. And if we could do that in someone else's darkness, the physical realm could be a better place. No, it would never, it never, never, never mirror heaven. It never will. This is the invitation. Um, And this is the silhouette of us, but the true essence of us exists on another realm.
Hmm. I'm sure after I upload this, there will probably be people who would like to reach out to you with questions. Would you be okay with that?
Most definitely.
What's the best way to get a hold of you?
You can email me at psiracusa4 You can feel free to email me with any questions, concerns, things you're going through. And if I can help you. I'll give you advice, encouragement, and help you move forward on this journey. We're here for a short period of time, and I want everyone to know that. The lifespan here is like when you are in a car and you stop at a stop sign and you wait for the other cars to pass and then you go. That's it. We measure it differently. We measure it as, wow, such a long time here for some of us. It isn't. The other side is the side that you go on forever, the side that time is not measured, but the feeling of love and trust and who you really are is measured by you.
All right. Well, before we wrap this up, is there one last maybe positive or inspiring message you would like to leave for the viewers?
Most definitely. In your darkest hour, in your darkest times, never give up. Find the true being of yourself, the essence of who you are, and push forward. Take any negative thoughts and turn it into a positive. And when you're able to help yourself, go out there and help somebody else. It could be as simple as helping an elderly person cross the street, giving someone a phone call who you didn't want to call, that maybe they needed that phone call, that laugh. Push that movement forward. Not only you're helping them, but you're helping yourself along this journey. That's my message.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for joining me. That was super informative. I'm probably going to watch this 3 or 4 times because there's some things that I'm going to have to take in there too. But thank you again. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here, and you have a good day. Okay.
So thank you for having me.
All right.